morning, everyone. This is the fourth time I'm trying to record this because I'm obviously so tired that I can't get my words out straight. So I've got my cup of coffee and here goes. Today's reading is from Mark, it's chapter 8, and it starts at verse 22. As Jesus and his disciples were going into Bethsaida, some people brought a blind man to him and begged him to touch the man. Jesus took him by the hand and led him out of the village, where he spat into the man's eyes. He placed his hands on the blind man and asked him if he could see anything. The blind man looked up and said, "I see people, but they look like trees walking around." Once again, Jesus placed his hands on the man's eyes, and this time the man stared. His eyes were healed, and he saw everything clearly. Jesus said to him, "You may return home now, but don't go into the village." Jesus and his disciples went to the villages near the town of Caesarea Philippi. As they were walking along, he asked them, "What do people say about me?" The disciples answered, "Some say you are John the Baptist or maybe Elijah. Others say that you're one of the prophets." Then Jesus asked, "But who do you say I am?" "You are the Messiah," Peter replied. Jesus warned the disciples not to tell anyone about him. Jesus began to tell his disciples what would happen to him. He said, "The nation's leaders, the chief priests and the teachers of the law of Moses will make the Son of Man suffer terribly. He will be rejected and killed, but 3 days later, he will rise to life." Then Jesus explained clearly what he meant. Peter took Jesus aside and told him to stop talking like that. But when Jesus turned and saw the disciples, he corrected Peter. He said to him, "Get away from me, devil. You are thinking like everyone else and not like God." Jesus then told the crowd and the disciples to come closer, and he said, "If any of you want to be my followers, you must forget about yourself. You must take up your cross and follow me. If you want to save your life, you will destroy it. But if you give up your life for me and for the good news, you will save it. What will you gain if you own the whole world but destroy yourself? What could you give to get back your soul? Don't be ashamed of me and my message among these unfaithful and sinful people. If you are, the Son of Man will be ashamed of you when he comes in glory of his Father with the holy angels. I can assure you that some of the people standing here will not die before they see God's kingdom come with power." I wonder if you've ever heard of that phrase, "We've all got our cross to bear." And it means that we've all got something difficult that we've got to handle. And this is where that verse comes from. These verses, that's where that saying comes from. If you want to be my followers, you must forget about yourself. You must take up your cross and follow me. If you want to save your life, you will destroy it. But if you give up your life for me and for the good news, you will save it. In this passage, Jesus is comparing, I suppose, our soul, our heart, what's inside of us. I would argue what makes us the real us. And sort of the physical stuff, the material stuff, the stuff that maybe I would argue the world thinks is important now. And here, Jesus is quite clear. He says, if you focus on that physical stuff, the stuff that the world thinks is important, and because of that, you kind of lose track of the stuff inside you, your heart, me, then how are you ever going to get that back? If you kind of do something or are something or try to be something that damages your heart, who you are, and your love of God and of those around you, if it makes you into a person that God doesn't want you to be, then you are at risk of losing everything just for the sake of a few material things. So I just wonder today, when we look at the decisions that we make, the people we hang out with the things that we spend our time on, are we focusing on the things that we think the world wants us to focus on, the material things? Or are we focusing on what is going to make us our best version of ourselves, the version that God longs to see? So today, have a little think about that. Are you making decisions that make you the best version of yourself, or just the version that the world is trying to tell you you need to be? I hope you have a really great day today. See you soon.